Until Time Immemorial by Mahir. The fire does not speak nor asks permission. It arrives unannounced. Turtle Island is its home, a reminder of our fragility in precarious times, a warning of how quickly elements, the land and sky, can shift against us. Yet the land never forgets, it perseveres much like its people, and after the embers are no longer. Fireweed rises first, ribbons and streamers that paint the landscape, purple blossoms imparting upon us ancient knowledges that from destruction, renewal and hope is birthed, that from blackened ashes and soil a brighter story can take hold. On Treaty 8 territory, the Chipewyan Prairie Dene Nation we are reminded that stewardship and kinship is not just a slogan, it is the essence of living itself, a lesson carried since time immemorial. Grounded in the deeply rooted ceremonies, traditions, and ways of life, land-based knowledges that their sovereignty is unchallenged, as settlers and guests, we must acknowledge. Chiefs, elders, and knowledge keepers, they guide us through the smoke. With their selfless impartation of wisdom, their teachings anchor us. They remind us that recovery is more than just surviving, it is remembering who they are, who the original caretakers of this land are, and how deeply we are also tied to the land, a contract that we have knowingly signed as a treaty people, as it always has been since time immemorial. In the fire's trail, a call to action is made. We are beckoned to learn in the face of problems, grappling with a time of uncertainty, grief, and distress, in times of rapidly changing conditions. There is no perfect answer, but there is an answer. And throughout this process, we acknowledge our role as guests in this land. We question inwardly and deeply, allowing the humility in our practice. We learn through collaboration alongside others, converging and diverging. We must navigate through our differences to make collective decisions, and through this stronger do we emerge. One lesson that we must grasp, I will discuss, we must unlearn to learn and earn Indigenous trust, where Indigenous sovereignty, traditional knowledge, and community self-determination have full claim. Without this, there is no justice, no healing, no goals, no aim. To stand here is to commit to equitable outcomes, to confront systemic inequities and injustices that disasters always make us clear to ensure that in an emergency response, the most vulnerable are never forgotten and seen with two eyes. This is not our charity, our benevolent character. This is a forever contract of responsibility, an absolute must. To walk this uncertain path requires courage, unlike any other, unlearning my ignorance, shedding the veils of prejudice and racial tension that envelope us all, that which silence Indigenous voices. Only through gaining knowledge, through actively listening, through humility, do we find strength enough to advocate, not on their behalf, but alongside Indigenous perspectives. It cannot wait. So they lead in the rightful places that they must lead, as they have led since time immemorial. I stand here as a treaty person, grateful for all the rights I did not earn, aware of the responsibilities I must hold. As a settler on these lands, I do not simply acknowledge the treaties, I carry them, living among the original caretakers with humility, working towards reconciliation, where words become practice and practice becomes a catalyst for change. Reflexivity demands I turn inward to examine my place, my privilege, my accountability to the community. Public health professionalism is not just a policy or a protocol. It is listening. It is cultural sensitivity. It is stepping back so Indigenous knowledges take authority and sovereignty, guiding decision-making and all. Two-eyed seeing teaches me to honor the strength of Western science and everlasting wisdom of Indigenous traditions, not as competing forces, but as partners in a path paved forward. Collaboration, it is a circle, each voice heard and represented, each risk worth taking when it brings us closer to justice. And always I will remember the rich history Indigenous people hold on Turtle Island, a history of powerful, enduring, since time immemorial. It is a privilege to share this place. Now it too is my home, to walk gently and comfortably, where the caretakers of this land have trekked for generations, battled insufferable conditions, long-lasting atrocities intended to strip them of all they hold dear. These knowledges, cultures, medicines, and traditions do not belong to me. They are greater than me, meant to be carried, passed on, and shared by Indigenous societies for the generations to come. This is what I choose to embody In my public health journey, a commitment to continuous learning to carry forward equity, compassion, and respect for Indigenous sovereignty, I have adopted this path not as an abstract lesson or concept, but as a way of being, an oath to myself and to the land I am privileged to share. And beyond these lands, my vision stretches further to effectuate systemic change across the globe, to nurture, to advance global health with all the identities I hold, Western, Indigenous, Zanzibari, and bold. I truly do believe that when honor is upheld, only then can we create what is necessary. The policies that will heal the systems and nurture. With all this being said, I bid you adieu, not alone, but together, the chiefs, elders, and knowledge keepers with Chipewyan Prairie Dene First Nation on Treaty 678 land, since time immemorial, and vow to carry this message forward until time immemorial.